on this computer.
Oh, there we are.
Oh, this reminds me of episode 1. This backdrop.
Hello, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congrats.
Thank you. Dave produced one of the tracks. I don't know if I mentioned that, but
yeah.
I love the industrial, the second one, the one David.
The one I did.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one I'm biased because I sang it, so it's not good. But thanks for listening, you guys. That's very sweet. Oh,
that was great.
Our new
really good song.
You can't see it.
Oh, hang on. I have something to show you.
I can see the spoon. Spatula.
Oh, and there's some kind of Buffy mascot. I don't know. Nothing, but
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It's behind us up here. Very high class.
Yay.
I'm just trying to reduce this 80s red on the side of my head.
How are you guys?
Good.
Not bad. Not bad. I don't feel so well, but I'm not bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm gonna tell you the nightmare I had last night, and it's a really dark nightmare. I'm gonna share that with you because you're my friends now. So went to bed relatively early, about 11:30, 12. That's really early for me, as probably for the rest of us as well, for one reason or another. And the nightmare I had was I was in a centre. Oh god, this is gonna sound awful. Do you know what Dignitas is?
No, do you?
Dignitas is a place in Switzerland that allows euthanasia.
Okay.
Okay.
And I was there observing someone going through that process. I was like, when I woke up, I was like, what the fuck was that?
Oh my God, Alex, that's awful.
And then the thing is, I swear that how your body, your actual body feels physically informs your dreams and your nightmares.
Yeah.
Because my arms, from my elbow to my hands, my knees to my feet, were in real agony. So there was something really kind of chemical going on, you know.
Wow, I totally believe that. Your body, like your state, totally can affect your dream. That's rough, Alex. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm really exhausted. Thankfully, I've been working from home today. I've been working on a few different projects and obviously getting those clips ready to post. I've just posted the clip out for the last episode, for episode 5. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
But what do you think of the new little tweaks of the artwork and that?
Fantastic.
That looks great.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing that.
That's all right. It's fun. It's fun. That's the reason I'm really happy to do this, because it's really fun for me to do.
Yeah.
And you know, there's different people from different walks of my life, different parts of my life that have messaged me and said, "Oh, you're doing this. This is great." You know.
I believe it. Because you're like a ball of energy, of positive energy.
Yeah, I'm burning out like a dying star at the moment.
Yeah, maybe you need a break. I mean, this is more like
No. This is fun for me. Honestly, I might complain about it, you know, because we've got family, we've got work, got everything to think about. We're all very, very busy, but this is really fun for me. So, this is like looking forward to the original showing of the show back in the day on Thursdays. It was in the UK for me, so it kind of always re-energizes me. So that's why I love to do it.
That's awesome.
So how are you both after today's launch?
Oh, great. You know what's funny? We were just saying there's and I didn't do great build up to the launch. I could have done more, but it's more the build up that takes the energy and the time, and obviously creating the track and all that stuff, tracks. But release day is, you know, we were saying it's kind of like, you know, like it's kind of like we just do a bit of media and then that's it, you know, and just wait for it to sit wherever it sits. And but it's a nice feeling to get something done, whatever it is, you know. I guess you guys both know you do a lot, and just to get a project done.
We kind of put them out and then just forget that they exist.
We try. Unless we get a rejection, sometimes I still have a problem with, you know, like sometimes you send it to someone like music.
Oh, I just meant like release.
Oh, release to the public. Yeah. But anyway, rejection stuff.
Yeah, that's good. No, it's great. I really, really enjoyed the track. It was a really good song. So congrats. Is awesome.
Thanks a lot. How are you? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, how are you, Jess? Yeah, sorry
Oh, yeah,
to back
good.
up Smudge.
Same old, same old.
Good. There's less Buffy stuff, but maybe it's the angle behind you.
Yeah, my husband set up this whole, like, he's really going all in with the mic stuff, so I didn't know how to fit everything around, so.
Yeah, you got a pop guard there. I've got. We should.
Oh, you have one too. Okay. I don't even
Nice.
know how close I'm supposed to be. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're good.
I hope the audio is not going to be like up and down at the end.
No, it sounds
but,
good. It sounds good.
You're good.
And I couldn't think of any like little prop to go with this episode because I was like, it's an invisible girl. What do you?
I think you need a huge mural behind you now.
I
That's what
want
you need.
one. I do.
That's my fantasy. I wanted to make this really high class.
I love it.
2 minutes to do. A giant one across this gray sheet that we got here. Not even a real like blanket. It's a sheet. It's awesome. But anyway, something really big, like, or even T-shirts. But anyway, I get ahead of myself.
Is the blanket for sound?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's normally a mirror behind here, and it's really bad for like if you want to record.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some acoustic panels actually coming hopefully soon.
Yeah, so we're
Put
gonna
up in this room.
We're gonna
to
treat it.
but,
Excuse me for 1 second.
Yeah, hopefully that solves some of the issues. But the mirrors and glass, is a glass patio door over there, and that reflects like crazy. So
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons when we had this house done, that the living room where we have our speaker system and all that, and this room is carpeted. Everywhere else is pretty much wooden floor. But we thought, right, got to do this properly because don't want the sound bouncing around everywhere, you know.
Perfect. It's the same here.
So, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. All I'm going to do is just put a few panels in here. It's only a small room, but it's worth doing.
yeah, it makes a difference.
It does, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So we are talking about the final 2 episodes of the season.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Yay.
It feels very odd, and I've got to say, so my phone's making a noise. It feels very odd in some ways, and the 11th episode, what was that one called? The one we're just about to talk about, Out of Mind, Out of Sight. Is that right?
Out of sight, out of mind. Yeah.
Sorry, I had it the wrong way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt, obviously, we'll just get into that in just a sec, but it felt like a really odd one for me initially. And it was a little bit all over the place, but we'll crack on with that. So, Jess, what's the plot of the episode we're just about to talk about?
So it's springtime at the Sunnydale school, and everyone's getting ready for the end of school dance, especially Cordy, who is going out for the May Queen with her current boyfriend, Mitch. And all of a sudden, he gets beaten by his own bat in the locker room while a voice starts laughing and says, "Look," on the lockers. And that's the beginning of the episode.
So has anyone got any initial thoughts about this one?
I really liked it because it seemed to, Dave and I were saying, it seemed to capture a lot of the real emotions of high school, like feeling invisible. I mean, that's kind of I guess one of the main themes in it.
Absolutely.
I felt so like that there's a girl, the lead girl who's invisible.
Marcy.
Yeah. I felt like that so many times in high school, and I thought that there was something wrong with me, but apparently it's common.
It's so common they make shows about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated high school. I don't know, maybe you guys liked it, but I hated it.
I hated it.
Oh, awesome. My kind of oh, medium.
I'll tell you my yearbook quote. One of my yearbook quotes in my beginning was a quote from why am I blanking on? Anyway, it was thanks. I've had a wonderful time, but this wasn't it.
Perfect.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
So yeah, definitely. I definitely was very. This is like, I guess what we were discussing before, that whole like taking a high school problem and like putting that supernatural slant on it, and this was like definitely like the most I guess relatable version of that kind of thing.
I think it's great how they showed that that this it was so extreme that this girl felt ignored that she turned invisible. And but they go on to discover that even Cordelia feels that way, being the popular girl, and it's just a great way to show that no matter who you were at the time, that pretty well every teenager goes through that, I think, very strongly at some point.
And even Buffy, who's supposed to be the strong heroine here, like is at least at the beginning is full of insecurity.
Yeah, I liked that they were showing not only like she kind of missed her old life when she's watching Cordy do her May Queen prep, like, and then also she felt alienated from Xander and Willow, which is not something I think they've done before, showing how long they've been friends and they were doing that "be my deputy" like, and she's not getting any of the references, and so she kind of feels alienated on both sides. So I thought that was good.
Actually, that was the first time I've seen Willow be insensitive. In the show.
Yeah.
It might be the only time, but or one of.
Well, but don't go too far ahead.
Something I quite liked straight off the bat was the reveal shot of the invisible person or the ghost, whereas you had this kind of stalking scene, very Michael Myers.
Yes.
And you had that quick shot of the back swinging. I thought that was a really nice reveal.
Yeah, very.
Did you notice? I don't know if they shot this on 35mm or something. It looked slightly different at the beginning.
We commented, the cinematography and the
it's so different.
Quality of the picture. The whole episode looked quite different.
Yeah.
That was done on purpose. I think they were trying to some of it make it seem like it was from Marcy's point of view, because they have like flashbacks. And then the exact same camera motions when they do it in the present, and it's as if to simulate that she's there but invisible and no one can see her. So very well done.
I was watching this with Vicky, and the first thing I noticed was the locker room. It's absolutely a real locker room and completely different.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, did you notice how short the lockers
were?
Oh,
we were just going to say that. He's picking up his book.
I have it written down.
He was just going to...
I noticed that the lockers were so short, you joked, the guys are all really tall.
Yeah. Well, like,
I was thinking, is that a kid's school?
Maybe.
Or maybe they've just had so many deaths in the locker room so far. They're like, let's shorten these so everyone has a good full line of sight.
Yeah.
They can see what's coming.
Especially so they can't put bodies into the lockers.
Oh my god, yeah.
But that's true. But in the first episode, they were like full height because they did stuff that guy from episode 1 in the locker. So
there was no drop of blood in that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
The women's locker room are completely different than the guys. Because I think that's the first time they've shown the guys' locker room.
Yeah.
Maybe they just boys don't have a lot of things. They just need tiny lockers.
It just reminded me of that scene from Uncle Buck when he goes to the kids' school and it's the tiny toilets. And he's kneeling down for the urinal. Something else I noticed early on that was a very 90s thing, but maybe they still exist, is it's the first scene where we see Willow, I think it's in one of the hallways, and she's got one of those clear plastic bottle drinks.
Yeah, I wrote it down. It's a Squeeze It. I had to look it up to remember what it was called. A Squeeze It.
Didn't you have to use the twist the top off?
Yeah, it was like all one piece, and then you had to like turn the little top off and squeeze it out. I noticed that too. I was like, oh.
I was like, oh, I remember this so well.
Yeah, I was like, Kool-Aid or kind of like really chemically true. It was awesome.
Some of the other fun things I noticed that Willow was wearing a Scooby-Doo shirt.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense to have that in it.
Called them the gang yet, so which is great.
Yeah. And then later on, Buffy's wearing the little like Daphne necktie.
Oh yeah, of course.
Episode 2.
And who did she play in the Scooby-Doo film?
She's
in it with her husband, Freddie Prinze Jr.
She was Daphne, right?
She was Daphne, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because her husband, Freddie Prinze Jr. is in it as
Fred.
As Fred, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
well spotted. I didn't think about that. That's really well spotted.
Yeah.
Did you notice the? I love looking in the lockers of the kids,
Yes.
Me
and
too.
there's a little post. I don't know if it's been there before because things might change with production, but there's a really awful set of high heels on a poster inside Buffy's locker, and it just like these really white, kind of almost like I don't know how to say this. It looked like a hooker's pair of shoes. You know what I mean? It looked really dreadful, the pair of shoes that, like, why would you even consider
I didn't
those?
notice.
You know?
Are they not the same ones she ends up wearing in the next episode? Are they? The
They
little,
might be.
the clunky heels that she wears with the dress.
Oh my god, they might be. That'd be terrible, wouldn't it?
I didn't notice, but yeah. So I don't know. I have to go back and look.
The only other thing I noticed was more smoking sucks posters.
Oh,
Yes.
The only poster I noticed this time was a Vote Cordelia Chase, and it was like a headshot of her in the lunchroom.
Like a presidential headshot,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the only one I noticed.
Yeah.
I don't know, like my high school did not have, they definitely discouraged smoking, but they didn't have anti-smoking posters everywhere you look.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I take away from this episode is that Buffy longs to be normal or longs for that thing she's lost in her past.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. Like, is it this episode where she's looking through the window and she sees Cordelia in her dress,
Yes.
in a prom dress?
Yeah,
I thought that was a really nice moment.
for some reason she's getting ready in the school, which I didn't understand.
It was a little weird.
That's
Yeah.
what Dave said too.
Yeah,
It was a really nice moment, but that would never happen in real life.
yeah,
But I hear you, Alex. Like I felt that too, and it's one of the times where Buffy shows some insecurity / humility, and she gets it back in season 7, I guess maybe later on. Yeah, so I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah.
Mhm. I think.
I love how she spilled all the killing tools on the floor at the beginning as well.
He's been everywhere.
Yeah, and I love how Cordelia is so self-absorbed that so at least at the beginning we think she doesn't even notice
Yeah,
that she's got
exactly.
like a mace in her bag.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't even know it.
Later, she did notice by going in and says that she had all these weapons, that she went for help because she hoped that Buffy was in a gang.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of interesting. There's a lot of reveals for me for Cordy. It was like when she had that speech to Buffy, like I came to you because of this. She actually does notice a lot more than you think. She's so self-absorbed. It seems to pass her by when a lot of weird stuff happens in front of her, but she is taking it in, and so
Great
I
point.
thought that was interesting. And also the fact that she pays attention in class and like wants extra help. It was a little shocking to me.
Yeah.
She's growing as a character. We were just saying before we started, Dave and I were saying that we noticed that, every character, pretty much all the main characters are like them because they've got some redeeming qualities at least, and they're not just simple good or bad. They've got these two sides, and Cordelia's becoming more like relatable too in that way.
Yeah.
I did look around based on that point Jess just made. I did look around the room going, is this a parallel universe or something? She's paying attention in class. This is a new one,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she was really with it, which I was like, oh, I didn't know she cared about her grades at all. Like,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
And her insecurity comes out like when her cheek gets, scratched by the invisible girl at the end when they're both, Buffy and her are both tied up. And I was surprised to see how insecure she was, when all the pressure is on Cordelia, which was interesting.
Well, that speech that she gave when Buffy and her are talking about her being insecure and feeling alone even when she's in a group, but feeling alone in a group is better than feeling alone by yourself.
Yeah.
I thought that was
That was
really,
brilliant
really
writing.
brilliant. It just shows that she works so hard on being popular that she, maybe she does see more than she lets on, but she doesn't tell anyone about it because it might risk her popularity.
Yeah. It's deeper than we thought.
Yeah.
I can definitely connect with a lot of that. Of feeling completely isolated in a room full of people.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that going back to her paying attention in class was like they had that whole thing where they're discussing the Merchant of Venice and like Shylock and the anger of the outcast, and she was like, I'm not getting it. Like, wine, 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 poor me, poor me.
Yeah.
And then later on in the episode, she's like, well, she kind of exactly says those sentiments that are trying to be related in the thing that she wasn't getting or supposedly not getting at the beginning.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that was a great connection.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that teacher. Actually, I thought she was excellent.
She was great.
And she lived.
She lived. That was a really dark moment. That was a brilliantly shot sequence when the camera goes in and goes behind her, and then the plastic bag. I was like, wow, this is darker than I thought of Friday night.
Yeah, but I love that. Yeah, that was the thing I loved. I think Principal Snyder says it, like, because there are no dead students here
Oh,
this week.
yeah, that was he had the best lines.
Yeah, he does. I love that. But yeah, no one. She ended up not dying, which was nice. I thought, because she seemed. I feel like it would be bad because every time we see an engaging teacher that actually seems to care, they're offed.
Yeah.
So it was nice that she got to live.
Yeah.
What's the actor? It's Armin Zimmerman.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so.
Oh no.
That was a brilliant moment where that Jess made about the no students die here and the trolley goes out, and when he gets distracted by what Xander's saying about the father or whoever it being the lawyer.
Yeah.
It was the purest kind of Quark moment from Deep Space Nine. It's as though he's been distracted by gold press latinum.
Yeah.
It's just a real great moment for kind of fans of his,
Great moment.
Yeah.
When Angel appeared, and it's this episode where he talks about this book. I can't remember. I wish I'd written it down the title of the book.
I did.
Oh.
There's 2 books.
Tiberius Manifesto. I don't know if I'm saying that.
Tiberius Manifesto. Yeah.
Pagamin Codex.
Pergamum, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Pergamum Codex. Yeah.
So this is another little moment. It's these title of these books. It's fantastic, and when he looks in the glass as though like she's come in, the ghost girl. What's the name of the girl that's turned invisible?
Marcy Ross.
When he thinks Marcy's coming to the library and he looks in the glass and the camera shoots back, I really did jump up when Angel appeared.
It's really great. Actually, that's another example of everyone in this episode feels invisible in some way, like including Angel. Isn't that funny? It's so
That's really clever. Yeah.
Clever writing.
I thought that was a really nice moment to kind of showcase a little bit about Angel, but also kind of it was definitely like almost to the audience, like everybody thinks being invisibility would be such a cool power, but in reality he's kind of explaining what the drawbacks are. The fact that you look in the mirror and you don't see anything is really sad, and I like that moment for him and for like kind of them having a different perspective on what Marcy's going through, which I thought was nice.
I thought that was brilliant, Jessica. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, I love that. I thought that they tried to humanize what Marcy was going through was really great. But then it turns out she's completely lost her mind, and there's almost no redeeming her. So even though what got her there was unfortunate, it's too late. Like she's actually gone crazy.
What, you mean it's not okay to get a bat?
Did you notice how successful the band have been? The school band, with all those trophies on the cabinet.
That was my main point.
We have that written down.
We
They're
actually,
the best school band of all time.
Yeah.
I totally missed that.
Yeah, it's when the little the false ceiling's being moved by the girl, and Buffy goes up. There's a huge amount of trophies on there. It looks completely ridiculous.
pretty bad.
They show in the Witch episode, they show the trophy case where they show some of the trophies that have gone to Sunnydale High School, but they have this other mass collection of trophies for the band.
Yeah, the band must be so good. Actually, I like the flute playing throughout this.
That was very creepy. It was like Pied Piper or something. It was very
Oh.
creepy.
I played the flute in high school, so
Oh, I'm jealous. I was clarinet. It was okay.
That's awesome. What I really liked the creepy loft area where she was living, and something I kind of connected with. It's Tony Todd's birthday today. The guy that played Candyman, And if you watch that film about where Candyman was based in this this projects area, I think it's Chicago in the film, and where he's staying, and the his mindset and his character's mindset and the people around the building, it just reminded me really closely of that. Especially with, when you're on your own, you can really start to have negative thoughts because you don't have any. It's an echo chamber in the end. You're only kind of within your own thoughts. So it's a really nice setting for that. With the fan and everything above that. I thought it was really quite a creepy episode and creepy setting.
It's funny because that scene looked almost, at least the set looked a lot like Newt's hiding spot in Aliens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know if it was inspired or not, but it was very, very well done.
It's so tragic to think though. Like I felt like almost they were a little too harsh on her. Like I know she went crazy and she was trying to kill people, but like think about the fact that she's living in the school, which means she was not only invisible at school, but she didn't even think there was a point to go home.
Yeah.
Like there was nobody waiting for her clearly at home to go to, so she just lived in the school, which is even more tragic for me, and I just felt so sorry for her.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I always feel that way. They kind of haphazardly mention a list of missing and dead students. And I'm just sitting there going, okay, well, what school has that? And if there's a list of missing students, like how bad is that kind of situation that Marcy found herself in? Right. How bad is it in that school?
Yeah, and I love the yearbook touch. Have a nice summer. That was.
Oh cool. Yeah, the kiss of death.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's harsh. I remember I had like my favorite. My band teacher was one of my favorite teachers. In junior high, so it was like 3 years I spent with her, and I loved her. She was my favorite teacher, and it's not the same, but she wrote like best in all your future endeavors in my yearbook, and she wrote that in everyone's yearbook, and I was like, I thought we had something. I thought we were close, and this is what I get in my yearbook. I was so upset.
Oh man, what was her name? I know that's irrelevant, but
oh, she was Miss Kalishak, but I think she got married after, but she was great. I think she's moved on.
I can bring it up. Do you want revenge?
I once met Elijah Dushku. This was years ago. She was signing stuff for Jalen, Silent Bob Strike Back. She was in that, and a friend and I, we both worked at the cinema, and these quad posters, the UK posters, which are a landscape instead of one sheets like the US poster. And we both took one of those, and she signed my friend's poster. Peace, and then her name and a little symbol. But when she wrote on mine, she wrote peace and love, and then a signature. So my friend was eternally jealous of just that slight difference.
I don't blame.
She clearly favored you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I was talking about True Lies and all the stuff that she was in, like Doll's House. Sorry.
Wow, she's great.
It's brilliant.
I can't remember the quote. I wish I could. It's something about quantum mechanical physics.
Oh yeah.
I was talking about the books. Yeah.
That's great.
And they're just like, what?
Explaining away turning invisible. I you know what? It's pure fantasy. I absolutely love that.
I love it.
I like that they blame the Hellmouth. They're like, it's the Hellmouth. Things happen. But then they go on to kind of discount that because all of a sudden those agents, I don't even know how they heard about this, pop up. And it's happened before. So does this happen in Sunnydale all the time? Or you don't need mystical Hellmouth energy to turn invisible. It just happens.
Well, what doesn't one of the agents say this isn't the first school this has happened at, something like that?
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you brought up the FBI, Jess, because if the police don't turn up, the FBI will.
It's funny because they first mentioned them, you see them hanging around, and it was very like a Men in Black.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, I wonder if it was a nod to the X-Files, which was on at the same time, because how many shows on Fox have FBI agents in them?
Yeah, and that's a really good point, David, is that when sometimes you'd see something that was crazy and strange that Mulder and Scully don't get access to or they lose out on, it's actually taken to a facility and analyzed.
Yeah.
Like there's a character in the X-Files who, if you step in his shadow, you just disappear. It's actually played by the guy that was Monk, the TV show. And if you step in his, basically, he'd always go to this train station because of where the lights were. It only cast a shadow around him. And what they did with him at the end of the episode was take him away and put him in a facility. So that's a really good point. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where that part of the story came from, was from the X-Files and what they did with people.
I don't remember Tony Shalhoub being in the X-Files. So
Yeah, he's in one episode. Yeah, it's a really great episode as well.
That's awesome. I'll have to go take a look.
And he's a brilliant actor as well.
Mm-hmm.
I want to mention on the ending, or maybe I'll hold off on this at the ending.
I loved Freddy Krueger's basement coming back into it.
Yes, I was gonna say I wrote creepy basement strikes again.
Well, I actually wrote a Hellraiser set in basement.
Why
the chains.
Why are there chains in the ceiling? What is going on down there?
Yeah, yeah, that was amazing.
It's an abattoir thing, isn't it? You know, if you have chains and the hooks because you're going to move meat.
Yeah.
It is Hellraiser, yeah.
That's why there's all those missing students. Some of them are in that furnace down there.
That's funny. I love the ending. I'm out of order, but I thought it was a brilliant ending.
Did you see why? Did you see the reasoning that the bronze was closed?
Yes.
Yes.
I actually wrote about that.
Yeah, Dave wrote. What did you write again?
Well, because it said it was closed for fumigation.
Again?
Well,
yes.
Still. Except that they were talking about having the party for the spring fling or whatever it is at the bronze. That's
Yeah.
all set up. Marcy didn't set that up. That was supposed to be there. So I don't know if that was a bad continuity thing. Like they just forgot to change the sign.
Yeah, I wonder. Because that was
I
ages
thought
ago.
So was that scene? That's where she takes Cordelia and Buffy, right?
Yeah.
Is the bronze. Now, is she being really sarcastic and writing that herself? Like, closed for fumigation to get rid of those two.
Maybe to get so people don't come in. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I love how the ghost has got a huge plethora of surgeon's tools.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, like opening up and all the tools.
Actually, it makes sense when she fights Buffy briefly, and Buffy falls through the ceiling, and Marcy sedates Buffy with a hypodermic needle.
Yeah.
It's a doctor's bag that it's like a specialty doctor's bag that she opens up.
Yeah.
So I wonder if she just stole one from some doctor, and that's where she got all the surgery tools or something
Maybe.
from.
Or maybe
That's
her,
a really good point. Yeah.
maybe her parent is just a very inattentive doctor.
Yeah.
Doesn't pay attention, is always at work.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something we missed. I don't think it is, but that's a really good point, David. Is that it is a doctor's bag?
Did you
Yeah,
guys
that's
think
true.
she was a really good actress? I thought she was so real. She could have been, the bathroom scene with her and Cordelia.
She's brilliant.
Yeah, Clea Duvall is her name. Yeah, I love her. I remember her from The Faculty. She's in The Faculty like a year after.
Oh my god, yeah.
This is one of her first roles, I think, but she's still acting. She's fantastic. Like,
She's
Yeah.
excellent in everything she's done. I've seen her in a number of smaller things, and she's
wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
she kind of
That scene. Sorry, Jess. That
Oh, no.
scene that Smudge just pointed out, where they're in the bathroom together.
Oh my god.
That was a brilliant moment because it's the kind of classic scene where girls are getting ready in front of the mirror,
so
and she is so on her own.
Yeah, and there's so mean and catty. Like it's so realistic. Like Joss is such a good writer. Yeah. He wrote direct, right?
not that one.
Not he did. Oh no, he
This
did.
one.
So I take that.
this one he wrote this one.
Oh,
Story was by Josh, but the teleplay was by Ashley Gable and Thomas Swindon, who did I, Robot, You, Jane. So I don't know if you guys know more. I guess they just wrote it down, but he came up with the story. Is that what that means?
Probably, yeah.
But
It's
he,
probably a real mix, isn't it, when they do that?
yeah. So I'm not sure what. Yeah, but he did write the story, whatever that.
Did you see that Xander? I think it's possibly towards the end with my notes. Is they had a really kind of seedy T-shirt.
yes.
No,
What was his shirt?
The red show T-shirt.
Yeah, it's a 25-cent Peep Show T-shirt.
Oh.
25 Peep Show.
That,
Yeah,
that
25
goes with
cents.
what I wrote. I was like, Xander was being a creep again in this episode because he's like, I'd like to be invisible. I'll patrol the girls' locker room. And I was like, oh, it's gross. You're so gross.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's almost like they have a caricature of what a teenage boy who's not popular is supposed to be like, which unfortunately makes him a little more shallow at times, especially compared to his writing for almost all of the women on the show. Because usually that's quite good. It's almost like that's Joss maybe didn't have that experience growing up, so either that or that exactly was his experience.
Right.
So that's what he writes.
I felt like it's very much a product of its time too, because I remember when I watched this show the first time through, and I think he is much less creepy in the later seasons, but I didn't find anything wrong with his behavior because I think this was very much like what we got a lot of at that time, and it's only now as an adult I'm watching it, I'm like, ew. Like, dude.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
There's two different contexts there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of do feel sorry for him in the next one, but we're not there yet.
Oh, but I thought it was also they kept up the Angel thing because like Angel literally saves their life and he's just like, ugh, what are you doing here? I think he asked him like, oh, why are you here? He's like, he just saved your life, and he's like, yeah, I don't care. I really hate you.
What did you think of the FBI school? It was all those kids must be psychologically broken before they even go there.
I wondered whether how they knew where to sit, because can invisible kids see each other?
I wondered that too, because she just pulls out a chair, and I'm like, how did you not know? Like, someone could have been sitting there.
You know what? I'm gonna make fun of you guys right now. This is like, if this was real, I get that, but you're talking about an invisible kid.
Oh yeah.
So, when people criticize movies and shows that are like not supposed to be realistic, and they pick on things. Sorry, you can hate me now. I'll just.
I love that. I think that's a great point. Yeah.
Sorry. You can hate me.
I thought it was an interesting concept that they just kind of left floating there, and they really don't revisit it until like season 4 with the initiative. So they kind of acknowledge that the government knows something weird here, but like then they just left that drift for like 3 more seasons, I guess. No, 2 more seasons, I guess. Yeah.
I like this episode though. I thought it was great for being one of the most viscerally real teenage experience episodes. In a nutshell, insecurity in neon lights, whatever.
Yeah, that was one of the last notes I made was that some teenagers must have really felt this way. Yeah. Because I didn't have the best experience at school, and I didn't feel invisible, but you can only imagine how some people feel. And even now, it's probably maximized even more so with social media and being. I always fear this when I see families, is that you see a child with a phone or something in the family home and being bullied and picked on whilst they're sitting around with people. Do you know what I mean? Like on a social media form, it's just.
And
there's no safe space anymore.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier also to like, I feel, even like our generation, there's such a filter around everyone's life. Everyone's life looks perfect. Look at me at my brunch and this and that. And so you feel even more alienated because why is their life look so good? When in reality, it's masking what's going on behind the scenes. But you get this false idea that everybody's life is perfect and wonderful. And there's such a fixation on the likes now on Instagram and this and that. So like, I feel like it's blown up even more now, of feeling alone and like you're failing.
That is exactly what Cordelia talked about in this episode.
Yeah.
So you could almost project her character into today's youth as being almost exactly the same way and feeling that same way. And that, even though she feels alone, she's going to try as hard as she can to be popular because that's what really matters.
Well, I think to emphasize Jessica's point too, I think it's like now that there's even a bigger like magnification
Oh,
of
yeah,
that
absolutely,
issue, which
yeah.
is
Yeah.
me growing up today.
I guess it just shows how good Buffy is that like 20 years on, they're still they address things that are still relevant today, like still stuff that you can relate to.
I think that's the great thing about Star Trek as well, is that there's so much, like Gene Roddenberry is so right about so many things. And if you look at, I think the strongest show is probably Next Generation with its storytelling. I may have mentioned this before, but there's a planet about sexless beings or asexual, and Riker falls in love with one of them. And it's such a like modern story now as well, with how the world is and how people are, and people are actually discovering who they really are, so it's great to be able to see so much relevance in watching this show again. And obviously the the seedy stuff that Xander gets up to.
The only other thing that I noticed in this episode, which was interesting, was that Angel has a moment when he goes to save everybody where he says he doesn't need to breathe. And that's the first time that they mention anything about kind of how vampires work. Like, you wonder how much about them is dead or isn't, because they never really tell you. And that was because he actually has another line about that in the next episode, about not needing to breathe. Well, different than the next one, but not breathing. And it was just an interesting physiological study of vampires.
I liked the Angel thing for what you mentioned too, is that this episode was smart in a way of almost like it was a fully episode on its own, but they nudged in the stuff to come next episode. So like his mention about not having breath and him bringing the pergamum codex. Just reminding you like this is happening, because we haven't seen Angel since his episode really, I don't think, or not much. So they're just kind of little reminders about what's coming in the next episode, which I liked.
And my last point is that I love how excited Giles gets about these books.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the highlights for me when he just discovers something new, because he knows so much already, and it's just like a little gem of info someone else knows.
So his acting is so good that when Angel saves them and pulls them out of the room and says, "I was here to give you the book," and hand it to him, you can see Giles struggling not to just immediately open the book, even though he was just dying.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much.
So great.
Yeah, that was very good. He's such a good actor.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Okay, so have you got anything else, Jess?
Yeah, there's only two things the little quotes that I had that I thought were, well, they're hilarious, sort of. Was the Xander's "maybe it's a vampire bat."
That was great.
I was like, oh.
That was great.
Yeah.
But that and
that was great.
Yeah, and that and Giles saying to Cordy, "I've never seen you be here before," and she goes, "Oh no, I have a life."
Funny, the only other quote I have is from Cordelia as well, which was me.
Yeah. And my favorite one is the "oh cool" right at the end about infiltration, like the ending.
Yeah,
that was great.
I wrote down something. I don't know this song personally, but apparently in the Buffy wiki it said under that title where it says assassination and infiltration, there are the lyrics to a Beatles song called "Happiness is a Warm Gun."
Oh, that's great.
That's cool.
That's amazing. That's a great fact.
Pick that up afterwards.
That's a brilliant song, and those are pretty much the lyrics of the song.
Wow.
Yeah, on the page that's what's written, like if you look in. So
wow,
that was cool.
That was a great episode. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's good. I liked it.
So,
and no bodies. No one died.
No.
Zero death cam. So
did no one die?
No one died. Not this week.
Oh wow, that's really interesting.
Just a bunch of lockers.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, those shrunken lockers, yeah.
That's why everyone had good eye lines. So
yeah.
In the locker room, no deaths.
Okay, so we're gonna move swiftly on to episode 6 of season 1 called "The Prophecy Girl." And Jess, what's this one about?
So picks up where the last episode left off. They're still getting ready for the spring fling. Buffy's out on patrol. Xander's practicing his promposal to Buffy, very insensitively to Willow. And an earthquake hits, and that's the sign that it's time. The end game is upon us.
There's one little production thing that I loved, but I think the overall build up at the beginning was really fun to kind of reconnect with everything you've seen before, with the Anointed One and everything else. And it was great to see. They tweaked the Master's makeup a little bit. I don't know if you noticed. Did you notice his lipstick?
Yep.
You know, the lipstick that's all smudged. You know when someone's been kissing too much and his lipstick's moved everywhere. That's what he had. Like he's been drinking loads of blood.
Oh, gee.
That had gone.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Although she does say you have fruit punch mouth.
You have fruit punch mouth. Yeah.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny.
I loved that the library at the school has a skylight.
Yes.
I thought that was a brilliant, like the kind of creepy, ominous camera move. Like whenever you see a Hitchcock film, you've got a camera above the character. Something sinister is going to happen. So I absolutely loved that. And you just know with a new set above a set that the production value is just amped up straight away.
Yeah. Good point.
And I've got to say, the person that stole the show for me in this is the Vampire King, because he has two of the funniest lines in the whole show.
Yep.
He goes when he's talking to the Anointed One at the very beginning. He says, "What do you think? 5.1?"
I love that he's giving like a speech, like the times they're coming. It's my what do you think that was? 5.1? Yeah. So good.
The only thing that kind of frustrated me a little bit was, did he have to wait to do that? Couldn't he have sent the Anointed One up before?
I think he could have at any time. I mean, he kind of shows him to the edge of the field or whatever and watches him go through without a problem. So I think that they probably, I don't know if there was other factors involved that needed to, the stars need to be right.
It's probably that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like they could have, but I'm sure there were reasons.
Maybe the earthquake weakened the field, and then what happens later was enough for him to get out. So I think it needed to be that moment in time, or maybe the power of the prophecy that Giles finds that plays into it as well, I guess.
What did you all think of Giles in this episode?
Brilliant.
He was very good. He was very good.
Yeah.
I love his role as a father figure in Buffy's life, trying to protect her, but also trying to protect her from things that when it's actually her job to deal with them. I thought that was very well done.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Again, I love the continuity. I'm switching to Buffy now from last episode of the insecurity and Buffy's facing the most serious thing you can face, your own existence. As a 16-year-old, I thought she did a great acting. I keep saying how great everyone's acting is, but it's true.
Yeah, she was very good in this one.
That scene of her overhearing it, and then her getting mad at him and throwing the book at Giles and like getting angry, and then that moment of vulnerability when she just lays it out. I'm 16, because like you kind of, I mean, obviously the actors are a bit older than what they play, and everything she faces, you forget that she's so young and so vulnerable, and that moment was just beautiful, and Giles was great in reacting to it.
Great. It was so great. They were all great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the good choices was making Giles look so rough, because he's obviously stressing about everything with Buffy.
Yeah, the same. I love this. Her observation of him being there all night.
Yeah, I thought that was really great, and I kind of like the Angel Giles dynamic, because they're both both know so much, and Giles knows a lot about everything, and Angel knows a lot, but not necessarily the same amount or the same things. And I kind of like that from the episode leading on to this. I thought it was really nice dynamic, and hopefully see more of that as well.
And you know what I also like? The complication on top of that. That's a great point, Alex. That that Giles starts to admire Angel because of that knowledge, but he can't intellectually like want to like Angel because he's a vampire. But he's struggling there. It's interesting, yeah. I think it's
like he's like being tempted with the apple, you know, like Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
With the book, I can get you this book. That's a really good point, Smudge. I think that dynamic, that scene, and the way they developed that was really quite rich. Really, and you can see I think the two actors really enjoy doing those scenes together.
Yeah, me too.
It's funny because even with all the prophecy and the big, culmination of the end of the season, they still had some really great teenage issues.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought the beginning with Xander trying to get the courage to ask Buffy and using his friend to practice, even though he doesn't feel like he's hurting her because he's so daft. And still going through with it. There was a lot of things in there that were really written like they were based in real life. Like it could have been in a teenage drama and not in a supernatural show.
Absolutely.
Right. It was, that was, I don't know, a lot of people struggled at, asking somebody out that they liked them, and he still forced him through it. And even Buffy's response in saying no because she doesn't feel like it, even though she knows it'll hurt him, still was incredible to me.
I thought that was brilliant too.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good. Like I liked that it came to a head because that was building. I mean, along with the master storyline, this was been building from episode 1, right? His crush on her, and it finally came. Like I like that they kind of closed that off at the end, and it was also a really nice balance, right? Because like the episode could have been all doom and gloom and she's gonna die, but they had that kind of relatable Xander depression kind of to balance out the darkness of Buffy's storyline, which I liked.
Me too.
That scene. Sorry. Go ahead, Smudge.
No,
That scene when I've got to make there's a funny point first when Xander is a bully from a very quick moment. He tells her like, "Hey, leave."
Alan, I was just gonna say that.
I wrote that down too. And they leave. Like, who is this guy?
You absolute bastard to do that. I was like, yeah, you're not gonna get Buffy now for doing that. That's your karma now. But yeah, when they sit down on that seat, and he says that to her, you could see how good I think you could see how good an actress she was. Yeah. There's a real kind of like elevation in her, maybe in her acting, but she really steps it up to sell the moment.
Yeah.
I
think she did a wonderful job in that scene in particular.
It seems like the last couple episodes that those things, it's almost like they've finally taken it seriously. It's not just kind of a fun, joking thing.
Right.
So
they brought up issues.
It was absolutely. I thought it was absolutely incredible.
And Willow. Well, I forget. Willow's reaction to Xander is that being second fiddle.
That was amazing.
That was holy.
So proud of her. I was like, yes, you tell him. You're not in sloppy seconds or whatever. Yeah. Tell him to F off.
Yeah.
I can understand that Giles is trying to protect Buffy, but he should be honest with her.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed.
I guess he was trying to fix it. I think he thought he could think his way around it. There had to be a trick that he could pull, and why tell her if he thought he was so confident that maybe he could find a way around it. That
funny moment. I'm just going back to Xander. The music of pain.
Yeah. I'm gonna go home, lie down, and listen to country music.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. I don't know why I noticed that. That's great.
And then later on, they cut to his bedroom, and he's listening to "I Fall to Pieces" by Patsy Cline.
I didn't catch that. That's funny.
I love
that. What I like about that is maybe this is just I just made this up, but the way he's lying down, it's like an upside down cross. As well, it's just the angle's not. It's not the normal way you would see someone in a scene like that. It's the kind of the opposite of that. Now, what's the name of the other?
Boyfriend or no?
What's Giles's role in the show? It's
the Watcher.
the Watcher. Would you class the woman that comes into it back into it? Is she another Watcher effectively?
No, she's
Be a witch.
supposed to be what they call it, a neo-pagan or
Techno-pagan, I think.
Yeah, so she's supposed to be like a modern form of witch.
Yeah.
But they don't explore that a lot, except that she uses computers.
That's such a 90s thing, isn't it?
They like to throw it in to say that somebody's using email and communicating over the internet.
The web.
The fact that she's talking to, they say she's getting her information from a monk, who also apparently is using the internet and giving this information, like, is so funny.
That's really cool.
What did she call them too? Like e-blasts or something? No, what did she call them?
It's something like an e-blast, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what she calls them. It was something. Yeah, sends out.
Just before he disappeared, there's another e-blast. Is this? I might be completely wrong, but she calls Giant Rupert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this the first time we've heard this?
I don't think so, but it could be, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
It's hard because I've watched it so much. I know his name is Rupert.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's like I didn't realize like last episode they'd never said Harmony's name before. It was the first time they'd ever said Harmony. But I guess that's you know these things, so you don't catch when they pop up for the first time. So yeah, I can't remember if that's the first time we've heard his first name. I
think the I'm just kind of jumping over to the where the cartoon scene where Willow comes in and all the bodies are there.
Oh wow, that's good.
That has to be the most gory scene so far in the episode, and there wasn't even action from you didn't see any of it, but just that shot was so good.
I think that reverse shot, the backs of the heads, and then when you see the reveal, I feel as that one of the bodies had a bite mark, the one that was in the foreground, right?
Yep.
I feel as though they had to show the bite mark to get past is it MPAA, and in the UK it's the body that allows shows to be rated at a certain age. Because if you don't show the vampire bite, that scene is really, really dark.
Yes.
It's really dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reactions to it were brilliant.
Yeah.
Were excellent. Willow and Cordelia both were excellent in that moment.
And the contrast of the cartoons, which is a light, happy kid thing, with the
blood smear on the TV.
Yeah, I think it's also good. Like I feel like almost like those Monster of the Week episodes when there were deaths. Like I don't know if Willow was just removed from it because she never saw it, or it was just the quantity of how much carnage there was. But I feel like this is the first time they show Willow really getting the stakes here, like really knowing how bad things could get, because she's never really shown that before in the previous episodes, even though there were kids dying prior to this.
True.
And that was great, her having to retreat back to her home and just sitting at home in her room trying to deal with the shock of it. And Buffy coming to console her, I thought was a really great friendship moment. It's like
it was, yeah, absolutely.
These are people who've chosen to deal in this realm of darkness that they're still trying to help each other out as people, which was really great.
Yeah.
And it was a good moment for Buffy too, because I mean, to go back that scene where she says I quit, like to Giles, well I quit, I don't want to die, so I'm just quitting. And then that was like the kind of hit she needed to see like, well, I am the only one that stands between this happening, so I'm the only one that can stop it. So they were right, it's not an option for me, I can't quit, I have to do something. So
there was something quite scary about when she says, I can't remember the exact line of dialogue, I'm 16 years old, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
And that made me went off on a huge tangent in my head about how you see stories of kids that have a terminal illness or have got a cancer or something like that, how you can't imagine their lives just cut short really quickly. And there's a real genuine moment that's how I really connected with Buffy, I think more in this episode than any other, because she's so innocent. Obviously in many ways she's not, but she is in and obviously it's almost like this virgin dress as well. You know, the prom dress kind of idea, the virgin bride.
Yeah.
And I loved the mother-daughter moment about the dress and not being able to afford it. I thought it was a really kind of special moment between the two of them.
Me too. Great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Sure.
that whole speech of Buffy's. I've said often that there are times where you can tell that the actors are older than their characters, and there are times where you forget that you're able to, because whatever the situation is, they really play it well, and that was one of those times. And she did such a spectacular job with that.
Yeah, and circling back to Jessica's point too, is like all the depth of emotion of everybody kind of going up, like Willow and Giles and Buffy and everybody, Xander too, like everyone going to the emotional extreme kind of almost. Yeah. Is it?
Yeah. Well, even even after Buffy faces the Master, or the middle of it, and Angel has that moment of helplessness where they see her and he doesn't do anything, and that's when it brings back to him having no breath and he can't give her CPR, and then Xander does and saves her, which I don't think they mention very much later on.
Yeah.
It plays a bit of a role in the next season one. They mention it slightly. I only remember that, by the way, because there's a bronze scene with this song that's been stuck in my head ever since I've watched it. So I remember that scene very, very particularly well because of that music from that scene. So that's why I remember. But I think that's the only time they do bring it up.
Just to jump back to the previous episode, you know, in the basement, the Kruger basement, and where all the gas is being released. Do you notice that the Angel checks Willow's pulse? And it was the quickest, it's like that. It was just like a split second. Like, would he be able to sense that? I'm not sure. But it was just such a real instant moment. It's just a throwaway thing. It's like that was really quick.
Interesting. Yeah, I just thought it was great that scene, even though, you know, Xander makes it very plain that he doesn't like Angel at all. Yeah. That scene where you know Angel seems helpless and Xander says, like, you know, he says, "Oh, you love her," and he says, "Yeah, don't you?" to Angel. That was such a great scene, because, you know, it shows that, again, these characters who are supposed to have power in certain ways, that some situations can make them feel completely helpless. And there's not a lot of shows or movies that do that.
No, and plus after being rejected, Xander does that. Of course he'd do it, but it's just interesting, the heartbreak and then giving back anyway.
I had a problem with Xander this episode. I thought they pushed a little too much onto the bitter part. Like, he's like, "Oh, guys, gotta be undead to make time with you." I was like, you're being such an a-hole. And then on top of that, like, practicing his promposal on Willow, and I'm like, God, you're so oblivious. Like, it almost made me not really feel that bad for him, because he was being such a jerk, and I was like, you deserve to be turned down. And
it's so accurate.
Like, you're just, and then his, like, "Don't look at my neck, you're looking at my neck," like it's almost he's being, like, a little homophobic, like, you know, "Don't look at my ass." Like, it was just like, you're being such an asshole this episode. Like, I'm really annoyed with you right now.
But I'm weird.
Giles has a great kind of slapstick moment slightly earlier on when I think he's talking with Angel and Buffy. Or just before Buffy appears. Oh no, she reappears in the library, and he says, "Buffy's not going to face the Master. I am." I absolutely loved it. And when Buffy knocks him out to the ground, so she can go to Hell's Mouth, it was just like the kind of. It's just a brilliant moment. I think that.
That's really great.
I think the performances across the board, I think they were all relatively, pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
And we get to see Angel's apartment again, which is great.
Yeah, that's true.
And there was I can't even remember who it was that did it, but there was a really great Star Trek reference.
Xander, Locutus of Borg over here.
That was so good.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed on the sort of camera angles, there was extreme close-ups of Buffy when she was really upset. Her eyes and everything, that was more when she was really scared just before she fell into the water. agree.
It was interesting also, that scene was almost kind of pretty much exactly as it played out in her dream in the Nightmares episode, where she was powerless.
Yeah.
She couldn't do much, and then he just got her and it was over. Like,
I thought that was great because it almost goes with the title of the episode, where she dreamt something that was supposed to be prophecy, and then when it actually happens, it plays out exactly as the way that everybody thought it would. And the fact that the Master had such power over her at first was really brilliantly done. And it shows you as well that there's a little more depth to vampires' power that they don't get into a lot, where they can control people. I don't know whether it's supposed to be like a lesser will or who are scared or what, but I thought that was really well done.
I wonder if it was almost like the power of prophecy, like it was written, so shall it be. Like she was almost helpless because the prophecy was playing out and she couldn't do anything to stop it. And then later, once it was already over and she'd come back, she said she felt different, was that the prophecy was fulfilled. Now she can go and she has free will again, I guess. I don't wonder if that was what it is.
Escaping your fate. And once you have, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. And I felt like it was such a Whedon move to be like, the cruelty of him being like, if you hadn't come down here, I couldn't have escaped.
Yeah.
Like, she was so brave knowing what she was about to face, and then to throw it back in her face and say, well, if you'd just been a chicken and stayed home, everything would have been fine. It was just so cruel, and such a Whedon move to do that, I felt.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed how they referred back to the harvest as well. That's something I really like about writing that doesn't forget its past, doesn't forget previous episodes, referring back to previous characters you might not see again. It's really kind of nice touch. The Master in that scene where we think just before Buffy gets brought back to life, so to speak, or reborn, the Master has the best line. He says, "By the way, I like your dress," and then dumps her in the water.
Yeah. I like
it's such
that.
a wonderful moment. I was laughing. It was so funny.
I like that also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just like the way the stunt actress just like fell face first into that huge amount of water. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I like also he starts out with like, oh, good, the feeble banter portion of the fight.
That was great.
That's actually a callback to, well, not a callback, but a reference to a lot of the superhero comics that Whedon and other writers have grown up on, because they almost all, especially characters like Spider-Man, just have banter non-stop when they're fighting villains. So I thought that they kind of acknowledged that from the Master's point of view was great.
Which later he kind of does that again. Is it Joss Whedon that did The Incredibles when he's like, you got me monologuing again?
Yeah.
That was Brad Bird, not Joss.
Oh, it was Brad Bird, right? Sorry. But yeah, that reminded me of The Incredibles where he's like, oh, you got me again. Got me doing my villain speech.
There's a moment where I think everything's really kind of kicking off towards the end of the episode. There's vampires everywhere outside the school, and they're all getting into Cordelia's car. I think, is it Willow that says, "Gotta get to the library"?
I love that line.
The
library.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a moment in the Da Vinci Code with Tom Hanks. He's on a double-decker bus. Audrey Tattoo. He's on a double-decker bus in London, and there's nothing else he can do. He's like, "Gotta get to the library." It's just kind of supposed to be this big action thing. I'm like, you're just going to the library to find a book that's relevant.
I love Cordy's response. Got it, and then just straight through the door.
That was great too.
Yeah, that was really. I was quite surprised. That was a really good moment, actually.
She was great. I was like, yeah, Cordy.
Yeah.
And we've got another instance where barricading doors. I think that's going to be another thing we're going to talk about. I think was it David that pointed out the lampshade in the funeral home. Yeah. And do you notice that all I thought was get the heavy printer, because they just shift this heavy printer in.
Can you say that again, Alex?
Get the heavy printer.
have they established that the doors to the library only go one way? Because I kind of felt like they went both ways before.
I think they went both ways.
And then all of a sudden they only opened one way in this episode.
That's so funny.
Not only that, but when they're barricading the other part, when Giles says they're coming in through the stacks, and Willow and Miss Calendar run to stop that, there are conveniently empty bookshelves.
Yes.
Up against the windows. Or right in front.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vicky made that point. Why are those shelves empty?
And they're they're not in like the back part of the library. It's like
they're right there.
enter right at the top of the stairs.
I like the snakes and stuff.
Oh, the big wormy thing?
The wormy
Oh,
thing.
the cross between John Carpenter's The Thing and Little Shop of Horrors.
That's exactly what it is.
I mean, I don't like them.
Yeah.
They were creepy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jess, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I love the skylight thing for me. When I don't know what it is, but when you develop a set or develop a location of something you really enjoy, and you get like we talked about, I think in the first or second episode, where you see the bronze and you see a couple of extra spaces or under the stairs or in the office. I love further development of sets or extra rooms. When sometimes you see a false door and then in the next season you'll see them going through that room. I think having that skylight and that roof was really nice kind of flavor to it. And it was a wonderful way to kind of round off the episode. It's almost like the superheroes on the roof kind of moment. I thought that was really great.
Yeah.
They do that with as well. I don't think it was this episode, but they did it more where Giles is in his sort of study inside the library, like his little sort of library area. And they've gone into that a little bit more and more. And I think it's great when they show that.
Absolutely. I know that's exactly it. There's a moment in Casablanca. I don't know if I mentioned this when we talked about that originally, where on the DVD they released, I think it was 50th anniversary or whatever it was, they released a deleted scene where Victor Laszlo is visited by Humphrey Bogart's character, and it was a completely new set that had never been seen apart from this deleted scene. And it was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is like furthers the story for me in some ways,
I gotta get that because I like really, really old movies. So, wow.
Oh, that's something else we'll talk about then as well.
Yeah. But anyway.
But it was really, really great.
Wow.
I think it was a really great setting. And it was really interesting that the Master's skeleton doesn't vaporize.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, I guess because he's so old.
Masterful.
Yeah.
In other vampire shows, usually the older the vampire, the more they decay when they get killed. So that was an interesting touch. I think they just wanted to have that final shot where they zoomed out from the skeleton.
And where was the car at the end?
Like it was just outside in the hallway.
I think they hop out and then run in. Yeah, so it's just I kind of wonder. I was looking at that and I was like, I feel so bad for the janitor that's gonna walk in at like 6 in the morning and be like, what the hell happened?
You almost like
tentacle snot all over the books and like everything's there's a huge hole in the floor and
that hole's gonna be pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yes, it goes all the way to the Hellmouth.
Exactly. Yeah. You almost need to see an episode about the cleaning crew of the school.
Like, what do they do?
The Buffy we never saw.
The janitor.
That'd be a great cameo for Joss Whedon, actually. It's like, oh no, not again. He pushes the mop. Oh no, not
like
again.
What? Yeah.
But I thought it was a really nice end to the show, and it was nice to see those moments, like David said, about the Willow connecting with Buffy on the bed, and the real development of some of these characters. So, I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really great.
My only issue with that at all is that they killed the Master in the first season, because I think he was a very strong villain who it seems like because of the situation they weren't ever able to develop him to do anything else because he was stuck in the prison. I would love to have seen him do more, because he was so his dialogue was fantastic and
oh, so funny. I was so happy.
I'm waiting for Nathan. I love Nathan. So.
You're waiting a while.
Yeah.
Well,
I love Mark Metcalf, I think his name is.
That's right. Yeah.
Such a good that like when he has a cameo, no spoilers, but later on and much later, I was like, So back, because I don't think you get. Well, maybe you don't get such a charismatic villain until I guess the mayor in season 3.
Yeah.
Like there's something to be said for the season 2 baddies, but they're not. I guess because there's a few of them, it's not. You don't get the same feeling, and it's like a different vibe. So, but yeah, he was great. I loved his performance.
I've got. So I'm that's me done with that one. I thought it was really clever. And was it the same length of time as the previous episode? Is it 45 minutes, something like that?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe it was. I don't think they did. Unlike TV Now, I don't think they ever had episodes that were longer. Maybe they did once in a while, but it was very rare to have them go out of that format.
Yeah, I think it always would just be a 2-parter if they wanted like a longer storyline.
Yeah, absolutely.
But otherwise, I think they had to stay in their time slot. That's all they had, right? So, I had a few bits and bobs for this episode. One, okay, last episode she was with Mitch.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
And then this guy that she's so in love with that she doesn't mind that he bails on her is Kevin.
Yeah.
Where's Mitch?
He's still in the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah. The swollen lips and the just under the eye, he was just
wasn't gonna work for the prom photos.
Yeah, that was great.
I thought it was Mitch because they showed them in the car at the beginning of the episode and it was dark. I thought it was Mitch. I went, oh, look,
yeah.
Continuity with boyfriends, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, I thought that too, and I would never have a problem with it, except for the fact that she was like, I have this deep relationship with him that I actually really like him, and I was like, since last week? I was just super odd. The other thing I have been wondering about the Master all season. Who lights the candles in his crypt?
Yes.
There's a lot of them.
You know what? I said the same thing. Like the candelabras or whatever they are. But yeah, I was wondering the same thing. There's a lot of them.
And are they sustained by magic, or does he send like the one vamp out to like Costco every week to like buy bulk boxes of candles?
I think he's got one of those long igniters. He just goes around himself. Yeah.
You know what, you guys? I have to say, like a helicopter idea. It was like, if I were gonna write a screenplay, you guys are giving all of these great ideas for extensions off, like fans.
The vampire who has to go to Costco.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Just
around like
is running errands for all the bigger vampires.
Yeah. Well, all these ideas, man.
Lighting all the candles one by one in the cave. By the time he's done, he had to probably go back and start all over again. There's so many of them.
Somebody opens the door. He says, "Don't close the door."
Yeah, the wind blows them all out. No.
One episode, they all fall over. The firemen are there. Firewomen.
That's brilliant. It's got to be a magic thing, hasn't it? Hellmouth. It's got to be that.
Yeah.
That's a great observation.
Yeah. The other line that I think would not have been funny except for any point because we're in this point in history was Xander saying the polls are in and it's time for my concession speech, which I just found particularly funny considering current events.
Did he say that? I forgot.
He said that too.
When Willow came to check on him in the school to ask how it went.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I would have noticed that line except for right now at this moment in time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then it said some pretty good Buffy's line at the end. We save the world. I say we party. That's a good.
Yeah, that was
great ending line.
I like that too.
Well, I think that's a brilliant way to end that episode. I thought that was a really good way to end season 1. So briefly before you joined Smudge and David, Jess and I were thinking about before we start off on season 2, we could cover the pilot episode. I know we briefly touched on, and the movie as well.
Sure, that would be great.
Okay.
Because I know it's going to be like it's almost like a rewind. It can be like a special kind of one-off episode.
Yeah.
And
you want to do them the same way, like talk about them back to back?
Yeah, I think we'll do it back to back. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I've still got the link for the unaired episode on YouTube, and then I think the movie's on Amazon, possibly.
Oh, we can find it.
Yeah.
I feel like I own it, but so I should be okay.
I might have it.
Do you guys actually? Quick aside, do they sell? Wait, I'll be right back. Where is she? Like Buffy's.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
Yes, they do.
Oh, they do. I have Wonder Woman.
Yes, I was gonna buy.
Amazing.
They have this Buffy for this episode in the jacket with the crossbow and the prom dress. Yeah, they sell that one, but oh, nice, you guys match.
That's great.
But yeah, they have them, particularly the Prophecy Girl Buffy pop figure. I only have Faith. I have Faith as a pop figure, but
I'd love Master if they've got a Master one. I'd love
I
that.
think they do. Yeah, they must do.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't do the kill count. Oh, and there was
Oh yeah.
there was something else too. We don't have to keep this in the episode, but I thought it was funny that when Xander was coming, like trying to talk to Buffy and ask her out, she says something about Willow, and he's like, "No, Willow doesn't want to ask you out unless she's playing it pretty close to the chest."
I love
And
that.
I was like, "Oh!" And it's funny
That
because
slipped me by. That's amazing.
yeah, some foreshadowing, but also recently there's this whole debate on Twitter with like Stacey Abrams, the politician from Georgia, saying like who's better, Angel or Spike, and then
I saw that, yeah.
Allison Hannigan came out and she's like she should have dated Willow.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I thought that was funny that came back around. Anyways, the deaths. This is 5 vampires, 5 humans, so 10 deaths overall in this episode. So the deadliest episode of the season altogether. No, this was the deadliest episode of
And
season
Jeff,
1.
do we know like the total counts of like the total cumulative humans and?
Yes, I can do that now, or we can save that for later. I have a whole. I made a whole.
Let's do
Excel.
that in the next one. Yeah, that'd be. Have you got you got a spreadsheet for that?
Yeah, I could even, if I had it. I had made a spreadsheet because it got complicated, and I also wanted to know who, like, how many of the Scooby Gang killed, who was the most killer, and was Buffy getting back at the vampires? Were the vampires winning? So I have it all.
Wow.
I when I edit the episodes and put them together, because obviously I put some of the graphics and the sound and all that. I know David and Jess were talking about the sort of the minutia between vampires' deaths and human deaths, and I was like, yeah, love this, love doing this. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
So I don't know when I'm going to send this out, but I'm going to send things out to you guys as soon as I can. And this is just a little. You can't see it yet, but these are little things from the Bronze Club. You won't be able to see what they are. They're a little secret things. So I'm just putting a few things together before I send it out.
Ah, thank
And
you. That's
I think
amazing.
before the end of the year, when we launch season 2, I'm going to release a Slayer Talk as an audio podcast as well.
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
That's a good idea.
So I wanted to kind of just figure out how we're going to do that and just the logistics. And yeah, I think that's the best way to release season
Great.
1. And to announce season 2, we can release season 1 as an audio podcast as well.
That would be good.
awesome. That's great. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Thank you.
But it's always fun. It's a real pleasant distraction for me. And the fact that Jess has done a spreadsheet about the deaths and everything, yeah.
I was like, I kind of want to show you guys right now. I
Yeah,
don't
Michael's got a good in there. Yeah.
I'm just
I thought
obsessive.
Jeff, you said you had that. I pictured a T-shirt with the Excel like over time. And I'm a math geek too, so yeah.
You know,
I love that.
I felt somewhat like better because I did the whole thing myself with like going through and I checked all the numbers, and then I can't remember what I was looking up, and then I found someone had done like a wheel of death counts from season 1 all the way to 7, and it was color coded, and it would show you by character who they'd killed, and it was like numbered like little dots for like, oh, Xander killed a demon, this, and you could see by the wheel how many kills they had for the entirety of the show, and I was like, okay, that I don't feel so obsessive now.
Oh my god.
So cool.
That's really great. That's really great. So for the next one, we'll check out the movie and the
pilot.
pilot episode. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
That's awesome.
I think the pilot episode's pretty rough when you see the versions of it on YouTube.
I've never seen it, so this will be fun.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it looks like a VHS rip-off. You know, it's like really kind of grainy. The one I've seen preview of anyway.
That's crazy.
I don't think I watched like the first 5 minutes and I was like, I've seen enough. That's fine. I'm done now.
So it might be a little bit of a grind, but I think that back to back, like we talked about with the movie, I think that'll be fun.
I totally agree. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, so
on to season 2.
On to season 2, and we'll do the movie and the pilot episode next. And time wise, with everything else, what's kind of the best for you guys?
I'd say, can we do like 3 weeks or something? Or that's Christmas. Yeah.
I honestly I don't mind because we've got a nice buffer of episodes to release.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially because you split them, right? So.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, I went for that 1 episode a week. I think that was the best thing to do.
Yeah, that was good.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
So maybe the first week in January then.
Yeah, that would be much appreciated.
Or just after.
Thank you, because it's a little crazy with good crazy with lots of songs coming and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, Al. I appreciate it.
That's fine. That's no problem. Does anyone recognize this shirt, by the way?
No. Wait a minute.
No, I can't tell.
I can't tell. I like it, but
It's Hopper's shirt from season 3 of Stranger Things.
That's awesome.
I've even got the light-colored 80s jeans as well on.
That's amazing.
So great.
I just need the sand kind of dusty-colored jacket now. That's all I need.
I wanted to dress up my daughter as Hopper for Halloween, but I couldn't find a tiny Hawaiian shirt that matched.
You could go for the Soviet Hopper when he's wearing the Russian outfit.
Oh, I don't know about that. I feel like I get a little backlash for that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Mine is a propaganda poster for the Empire.
Oh, nice.
That's great. Love it.
Awesome.
Absolutely love it. Yeah.
I just
So,
Blue Jays.
that's awesome.
I have
What's that?
Buffy
Sorry,
shirts.
Jess, go ahead.
So I was gonna say I have no Buffy shirts. I'm so disappointed in myself that I have no Buffy shirts.
I don't
The
either.
best, it's not even Buffy, but it's that universe. The best shirt I ever saw for that was a Wolfram and Hart shirt.
Oh, nice.
And it was actually like an album or like a somebody who worked there, Wolfram and Hart like member or something shirt. And
That's awesome.
it was from Buffy or from Angel. It was so great.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
I think I need a bronze Bouncers t-shirt.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be.
I think I might mock one up. I'll mock one up for our t-shirts. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
We had bouncers after that first episode where the bouncer was the first to die. I don't know if they've hired them back in.
It's like, it's fine.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and what we can do with the next episode, whenever we record it in early January, whenever we can go through our favourite moments of season 1 as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Or favourite episodes, something like that.
Yeah, babe, best like quote or best moment.
Oh, it's that.
or...
I can't remember the spell book of that spell. That's my favourite moment, I think. I love really obscure fantasy moments or spells being cast, things like that. I love all that.
Really cool.
Shall we mock up a list of all the spells and books mentioned, or?
Oh my god, yeah. Thank God for Wikipedia and being able to research it online, isn't it?
The Buffy wiki is amazing. Like, they lay out every single character. Every character has their own little screen, and then they tell you even the locations. Like, oh, this, like, Buffy's house and the cafeteria, and like it's all laid out, and it's insane.
It's all connected by the sewers. It's all connected by the sewers.
Yeah.
We know that from that rogue vampire that disappeared into the sewer.
Right.
Yeah.
I want a map, like a legit map, because I just can't fathom how she ran all the way to the zoo from the school. Was it that she ran from the school to the zoo in like one go? Like, how large and small? Because they have an airport and a zoo. And
I want to know how big the graveyard is and like how.
It's pretty full.
They must have
It's pretty
more
full,
than
yeah.
one. They must have like a lot of
Yeah.
cemeteries.
Yeah. And
Uh,
where does George go to work? Well, anyway, there's a bunch
Art
of,
gallery.
but like, where is it? Is it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we ever see it ever, right? It's never
That's
shown.
interesting.
I don't
Right?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that map we all want to see that Jess mentioned is going to be like the map of Springfield.
Yes.
It's really not going to make any sense.
Yeah,
Which is the beauty of it, really.
Yeah.
I'll bring it out for the next episode. But in my Buffy board game, the board game is actually a map of Sunnydale, but
Ooh, that's
But
cool.
it doesn't have any. It's mostly like the boss locations from the later seasons, so it doesn't really answer any of those questions. But
That's interesting. Is
I'll
that
see
a
it a
fun
proper.
game, Jess?
I haven't played it. My husband got it since like our kid was born, and we just haven't played board games since. But it's very pretty. And here's like, I put this
Maybe
is like,
one day in the future we can all.
Oh
had
wow,
him
look at
in-
that.
Whoa.
That's great.
yeah, I had
That's
him
so
in a
cool.
little behind. Yeah,
Has
I
he
love
got his spread lipstick around
big
his
bat.
lips?
Yeah, not as bad. No,
Yeah. That's you know that kind of look we talked about where it's all blurred. It's like me in hot sauce.
his fruit punch mouth, right?
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
had fruit punch mouth.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been pretty wonderful, and it's a great way to kind of cap off towards the end of the year. And
Absolutely.
I've got the next episode prepped for Friday, so you'll see little posts about that.
Yeah.
And when you repost these things, it helps massively, you know, like on the views on Facebook and that kind of thing. So I
Ah,
really do appreciate all of that. And this is always fun. It really is always fun for me.
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. Thanks for including me.
No, Jess, you've been great, and like David knows all the names. I forget all the names. You
Yeah.
know all the stats. Smudge talks about the kind of the deeper side of the episodes, which I absolutely adore.
Sorry.
And I think about the superficial, stupid things like the random chats.
Oh, I had a thing for you that I thought you would enjoy, but I forgot to say it in the episode. They didn't have CG for the last episode. They couldn't have the budget. So those tentacles were just like people. Each tentacle was a person manipulating the mouth from the inside.
Oh wow,
Yes.
I love that. That's my jam. I prefer that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
That's
Just imagining
really
some
interesting,
guy
yeah.
in a little tentacle suit.
Oh my God.
Great.
Well, thank you very much, Jess. When this meeting ends, have you done a recording on Zoom before?
No, Michael has, so he does it for
when-
his podcast. So
When you end it, it will start to compress. So
Okay.
you'll see a little pop up start to compress, and then when it ends, it'll ask you to choose a place to save it.
okay,
And then
Great.
the files aren't too big, which is great, which is really
wow.
great.
okay.
So, I'll tell you a little funny behind the scenes thing just to kind of end things off. When I was changing the graphics around, it was really easy to put two shots next to each other. And I thought, where's Jess gonna go? And it was like, oh god, I spent so long trying to arrange everyone, you know. But I think it worked out really well. And if there's any, you know, I'm always open to suggestion to, you know, elevate things. I think this is going really well. I'm really enjoying it.
That's great.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
thought it looked really great.
Yeah, me too. It was amazing.
But yeah, and there's actually to pay for the blah blah blah. The money I've made from the T-shirts from the Hellbound Festival is going to pay for the audio and possibly a website for Slayer Talk as well.
Oh, you're kidding.
That's great.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So I've got enough money to pay for everything for Hellbound and for stepping up the Slayer Talk stuff as well.
But Alice, if you need any, like,
No. Honestly, it's that's the reason I wanted to make T-shirts for the previous festival.
oh,
So it could be self-sustaining, and everything else is gravy. You know, we can really enjoy it. Then you see,
That's so
thank
great.
you. Thank you for that.
Thank
That's
you.
and there's
Yeah.
actually, I can share this with you now. There's actually a Slayer Talk T-shirt.
what? No way.
Yeah. I'm gonna. I don't want you to buy one. I'm gonna send these out to you.
Oh, did you get my parcel, by the way, Al? Yeah,
I didn't get anything yet. No.
I gotta
check the
I gotta check the track.
I had a meat delivery earlier that was.
No, that wasn't for me. I'm not that weird. I'm weird, but
No, it's just for me to kind of help me in my diet and losing weight and everything. I'm trying to be more careful.
I need to do that. I thought I was doing that. I signed up for one of those meal prep services.
oh yeah.
HelloFresh, but you don't show you anything until you sign up. So I already paid for it on this Black Friday deal. And then I was looking at the recipe cards of my choices, and there were like calories, and it was like 900 calories. And I was like, okay, for 2 servings, like divide that in half. That's pretty good. No, that's per person. I was like, this is not going to help me at all. So a total fail in that department.
The biggest thing stopping me losing weight at the moment is my addiction to biscuits at the moment. Like I don't think the wrapper's in here anymore. Like I finished a whole thing of chocolate digestives earlier. So.
Making me hungry.
So good.
Yeah. I'm going to share my screen. Jess, can you allow screen share?
Do you know how to do that? Multiple participants can share simultaneously? Is that? No.
Yeah.
Advanced sharing options. All participants. There we go.
Okay, great. So this is the store that I created for the Hellbound Festival.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
And this is the official logo tee.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's so great.
That's great. Oh,
So that's the logo.
Oh my god. Alex, this is amazing.
And
so
they come
cool.
in. They come in obviously variety of
Oh,
colors.
I love orange. I love green. I'm gonna get 20 of them. Oh my
And
god.
I actually think the pink works really well as well.
That's pretty awesome.
Ooh.
And then we've got, this is a slouchy, apparently this is a women's comfort tee. So I really like the look of this. And this was normally a lot more expensive, this one. But I thought this is suitable.
Ooh,
And the purple's good as
purple's
well.
really cool.
Purple. Ooh.
So yeah, I just put those together. That'll develop, the next season we'll do. I'll probably, I'll have the design I talked about where we're all going to be on it, where, we're going to be surrounded by vampires and things like that. Smudge is going to have her wooden spatula. What do you call it? A bandolier, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be those.
Like all kitchen.
Yeah. And if you've got, when I come up with that design, I'll send you the design idea, the outline in the chat, in the Facebook chat. But if there's something you'd like to appear in it, like Smudge, if you wanted like a pink wig or something like that, we can do all of that.
Dressed up. Yeah, maybe. I'll think about it. Thanks. That's really.
Yeah.
I'll just have an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I should I show you guys?
Yeah.
Let me show.
Yeah. Oh, this is great.
How do how do I do this?
Yeah, I'm not.
Just click share or?
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
God.
So good.
Oh my god.
This is my whole. So there's all the numbers by the episode.
Come on, Willow. Whoa. Kills.
That's so great.
Is this just season 1?
Yeah, that's just season 1. I'm gonna add new tabs as we go along, and I'm hoping to total up like the main characters, their kills, like tallied per season, but also like
Wow.
cumulatively over time. So
Wow, you're organized.
Just out of curiosity, because my anxiety level's just gone through the roof with this much. What are the green boxes?
Yeah.
oh, those were things that I thought were interesting, but I didn't really want to count them as a kill. So that's like Xander eating the pig. Oh no, eating the pig. I put that in the wrong one. It's Xander eating the pig, and then it was supposed to be in Teacher's Pet. I'll have to move that over. I also had a little asterisk for him destroying all those she mantis eggs, as I was whether those count as kills. I'm not.
Oh, that's interesting. Depends on the development time. It's like eating eggs.
Yeah, I'm not sure if those were fertilized. So I wasn't sure if those counted as kills or not. But
That's great, Jess. That's
yeah.
awesome.
But then I highlighted all the main characters so you can see their kind of kill totals for the season.
Oh wow.
That's
The
awesome.
grayed out are the people that have died, like the villains' death counts, but they're dead, so they're not.
I think this little moment is going in as the teaser for the last episode.
Does Giles have any kills?
No.
Didn't he kill the mantis with the recorder?
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
he said it.
I think that's Buffy. Buffy was kind of, he takes her out.
A final blow kind of thing.
Yeah.
I could give him a half point. I mean, that's like Xander has a half point for beheading the Mark at the talent show, even though Sid is the one who kind of does the deed and stabs him through the heart. But I gave him a half a point for for contributing with the beheading. So.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I had my
Oh, yeah.
rules on the side there of how I counted deaths and stuff
Wow.
because
What was the name of the Sid the puppet? He's got a death kill.
I gave him half a point. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this, Jess. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you for showing us. That's...
Yeah, I'm so happy right now. That's great.
So,
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Welcome aboard. That's brilliant.
I had a lot of fun.
Can I have a closer look at that? That's great.
I love it.
That's great.
Good choice of.
I'm looking
photo.
forward to seeing how people start to look. You know, like makeup and everything changes when they go to next season. So it's all quite exciting going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're getting into the more like, I guess what people nostalgically remember as Buffy, because like this season was really good and I enjoyed it, but it's still not like into the flow exactly as what you remember as classic Buffy. So I think we're really getting into the good, really solid
We
seasons
bring
of
in
Buffy.
some of the long-lasting characters. And things,
Yeah.
So it's it'll be really good.
Well, I'd like to part ways by saying congratulations on the EP release today.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it smashed it. I really enjoyed it, and
Oh,
I've been playing it in the living room, annoying my neighbors by turning it up. So
nice of you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
funny.
great.
We
I
just
had a-
finished two punk tunes, so it's totally different. But you know, I do all different things. But yeah, thank you, Alex. That's and Jessica. Thank you guys.
Yeah, it's great. I added it
We
to
all-
my Spotify playlist for just one of my, I
Oh,
put it as a favorite, so it's really
Thank
good. I
you.
liked it a lot. Congrats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant.
that's great. Thank you. That's great.
Okay, Jess, I'll if you want to WeTransfer that over, or ask Michael to WeTransfer over whenever, that's
Yep.
fine.
Yeah, I'll get that.
And then, yeah, it's a little bit scary when you end the chat and then
I
it
know,
starts to
I'm
compress. Not to
terrified.
close the window or turn
Can
the
I-
computer off.
Can I do it now while you're here? Okay.
I think you have to end the meeting first.
No, wait, no, I can't click stop
What?
record?
When you press stop record, it doesn't start to compress until you leave.
Oh no, so I click stop record and then I click end. And
You can just end the meeting. You don't have to press stop record. You just end the meeting.
Are you sure?
Then a little 100%. Then a window pops up, and then that just has to stay on.
So I could click
That's it.
end. I'm gonna
Yep.
click end and
Yep.
and that won't screw anything up.
Nope. On
What?
my head be it. See you all soon.
Bye. Merry Christmas and
Merry
happy.
Christmas.
Same to you.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.